Kumbaya, my lord. This isn't just kumbaya talk. Purpose drives impact. Looking to empower up your day? Tune in to Evolve Together with Empower People on ESPN Richmond, powered by MikeKingBiz. Join me, host and Empower People founder Tiffany Joy Greene, MBA, as I bring dynamic leaders, change makers, and entrepreneurs to share their journeys, challenges, and successes while driving their purpose to drive positive impact and empower people. Empower People is an organization that provides education, connection, and support to mission and purpose-driven leaders to drive positive impact and empower people. Catch us every Tuesday at 5 a.m. on ESPN Richmond and join Empower People today. What are you waiting for? We even have a free membership. That's right, free. Visit www.empowerpeople.org. That is MPWRPeople.org. You can also visit us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Evolve together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic. Mike King here, part of the MikeKingBiz Media Network. I am here with the Princess of Purpose, Tiffany Greene. And that's right, she is putting on her tiara. Yes, she is. And she is the Princess of Purpose. And she is riding along with the Easy Rider, the King of Kumbaya, my man, Chris Mayfield. Yes, that is him right there. He is the coolest Marine ever. Alrighty, so folks, welcome back to the program. This is On the Mic with Mike, Tiffany Greene. Welcome back, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike. And I think since I did go to the bother of putting the tiara on, I think Chris should really sing Kumbaya.
No, for one, I don't even know the words. So there.
Assignment for next week, Chris Mayfield will know the words, at least the first 4 or 5 words. Tiffany Greene recorded that. That is her open when I'm in the studio, and that wins hands down. That stops the show.
Hey, the whole point of advertising for everybody listening is not to sound like everything else that's on the radio station. Back in the day when I worked in media, I worked, one of the radio stations I represented was a rock station, classic rock station. And my client, I had a client, as an example, and I wrote the ad, and we were using country music as the backdrop. Well, let's just say the DJ wasn't very happy about that because that wasn't in line with the classic rock station. And I said, that's exactly why we're using the country music in this ad, to prevent lizard brain so people start listening to the ad.
And you said, what kind of brain, ma'am?
Lizard brain. It's actually, there's a study of lizard brain. We all get lizard brain when we start tuning out. And to prevent lizard brain, you have to do something disruptive.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tiffany Greene, our resident Canadian, dropping nuggets of knowledge on us right there. News you can lose, news you can use right here on the mic with Mike King, Chris Mayfield, Tiffany Greene. We are going to give you information that you cannot live without. Madam, what are we talking? What is on the agenda that is a burning nugget that you need to drop on people today?
The golden nugget that we're talking about today is not actually about lizards. I know that's shocking, but I know, right? But we're still continuing the conversation about purpose-driven leadership. But what we're going to be focusing on today is how do you drive purpose within an organization, within the different, within training? Like, how do you do that as you're training your individuals, whether you're training them leadership skills or skills they need to know for on the job. And so Chris and I talk about this a lot, that in order to really training isn't just about a lot of organizations, and Chris, I'll let you chime, it's a discussion, okay? I'm not going to talk the whole, 25 minutes, but there's a lot of missed opportunities for organizations when we start talking about training, because it's all about the how, right? How do we get the job done? And it's always, it tends to be one-sided. Like, I'm an organization, we're looking for efficiency, we're looking for this task to get done. So it ends up being task training, right? But most importantly, when we're talking about an organization, we're training is an opportunity. You're going to be shocked with what's coming, Mike. Training is an opportunity to lay the foundation and actually grow the purpose of the organization, which ergo creates the culture of the organization. And then on top of that, the training is about aligning your employees' purpose to make sure that their purpose is being achieved and driven as well. That's what training really, that's where the magic happens, right? So if you're investing in the training of your people, you're not just investing in the training of your people, which is important, but you're investing in the purpose.
Yep. And here, that brings up a really, really great point in the way that most people, not everybody, because certainly not me, probably not Tiffany, and I don't know about Mike. He's, you know, you never know what that guy's thinking, but here's something. Let's reframe this word training a little bit. And when we talk about training and culture and team climate and making people resilient in the workplace and retention, when we abdicate training, right, to HR, or we abdicate training to the training department, what we're really giving away is our ability to influence them as leaders, right? So when we say today we're going to talk about process XYZ, and then they go and they say step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what they almost never do or rarely do is say, here's why it's important to your success, here's why it's important to our company's success, here's what good looks like, here's what it means to our customers, here's what it means to our partners in business, and this is the way we interact with this activity or this software and with each other. So that's probably more important for a sustainable business than the actual XYZ of a given process. Now, we need those things, right? We need to understand how to operate a forklift or how to do an entry into QuickBooks, but we also need to know why it's important and what this is inside our system. And the best, most appropriate place for that to come from is from the leadership team. And the reason it comes from the leadership team is because it's reinforcing. It's reinforcing the values, it's reinforcing the culture, or starting to change the culture in an innovative way. So if you're stagnant, or you're declining, this is an essential ingredient to changing your culture through innovation. So, we shouldn't disconnect training from leadership. It is a responsibility of leadership. It's a core central idea of leadership.
And
that's my man, Chris Mayfield, really quickly. His voice, you haven't heard it for a while, ladies and gentlemen. He has been out of the game for a little bit, but back better than ever, giving us nuggets of knowledge on, a unique perspective a lot of times. And that's why Chris Mayfield, Tiffany Greene are here giving us, the purpose information and having it intertwine in all aspects of the business.
So I wanted to say too, like as Chris did such a good job of explaining how important purpose is in terms of leadership. But one thing I didn't hear Chris say, and he was very wink, wink, purposeful, I'm sure, in saying it this way, was he did not equate leadership. I didn't hear him say a job title. Did you, Mike?
No, I did not.
Because does the job title mean you're necessarily a leader?
No, it does. Now, some people may think that, you get the title and that makes you a leader. That might make you a boss. You may boss those people around and tell them what to do, but you're not a leader inspiring people to do a better job, be great, and the things that leaders do. Leaders build people up. Sometimes people were bosses. They're just here to get the task done.
I'm going to put a fly in your Chardonnay, Mike. When you have when you're given a leadership title, manager, supervisor, lead, team lead, whatever it is, right? Most companies believe that infers some kind of leadership role. Yes. But what they don't do is prepare people for what does that mean, right? So you are, in fact, as a team lead or a manager or a supervisor, you are, in fact, a leader. That doesn't mean you're doing it well. It just means you're supposed to be doing it well, right? And so when we give people these titles, and then we say, it's okay if you're not a leader. Then why give it to them, right? Well, why make them responsible for other people or processes? It is, we do them a disservice, right? We make them a supervisor. They're ultimately unsuccessful. We make them a manager, or they're not promotable, right? Because they've done such a terrible job. And we actually do it to them because we don't provide the basic skills, communication, employee engagement, all those written writing skills, etiquette skills. We don't provide that kind of training in those skills that set people up to be successful. We give them a title, then we watch them fail, and we wonder why we can't find good people, right? So, you can stir that fly in your wine, but ultimately you're going to eat it or drink it or swallow it in some way. So the best way to do it is just recognize that there is a fly there, and start training and teaching people how to be leaders and what being a leader in your organization means. So,
And I'm gonna throw in something else out here. You should be teaching leadership before you're a leader. Because if you
Well,
can't
imagine
lead
that.
yourself, how are you expected to lead other people? Imagine that. Leadership, the best leaders do it by modeling. So if you can't lead yourself, well, how are you going to lead anybody else?
That is true. Tiffany Greene, Chris Mayfield, putting a unique perspective and idea on the idea of leadership. The title, the position does not automatically make you a good leader.
Yeah, so let's imagine a society, let's imagine an organization, let's not say society, let's imagine an organization where we empower everyone to be a leader.
Yeah, imagine that. Hey, imagine this. What if during the hiring process, we actually look for people with leadership skills? And if they didn't have them, but we wanted to hire them for technical skills, how about we just go ahead and train them and give them a good foundational knowledge of what leadership is? And more importantly, or just as important, is what does leadership mean to your organization? Because every organization is different. So if we don't have that foundational knowledge and we don't have the ability to share that foundational knowledge, then we'll always be in that hiring cycle, watching people fail in their jobs.
Hey, Chris, that sounds a little bit like leveling.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like leveling. Yeah, leveling. For everybody who's not in the biz, so to speak, when we're talking about leveling, what we're talking about, and Tiffany, I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox here. When we talk about leveling, what that just simply means is everybody having a shared knowledge, right? A shared understanding. And where most companies get this wrong is they teach people how to technically do their job. But what they don't talk about is, here's how we treat each other. Here's what means to be a good employee here. Here's what it means to be a good leader here. Here's what it takes to make you successful inside our company, therefore making our company successful. And that's all leveling. That's not advanced in any way, right? That should be some basic things that you begin during your interview process, if you truly want your people to be successful. So
yeah, if we want to grow, right? If you want to grow, how do you grow? You have to level. You have to always be speaking the same language. You all have to have a common culture, right? And if you don't have that, it's pretty hard to grow something because everything's disconnected, right? There's about 50 different cultures depending on the size of the organization, and everyone's speaking a different language. We know how well that goes, right? That's very difficult. So leveling is key to going to the next stage, which is growth. And then once you're growing, what ultimately do we want to be doing? Chris, I feel like I'm a teacher.
Well, growth is kind of a funny thing, right? A lot of people think growing is a place that we're going to arrive and then we're done. But that's not actually what growth. So you hear people say, well, we want to 4 times our revenue next year. And when we get there, we win. Well, that's not true, right? It's just not. Because if we get there and then we immediately close our business down, maybe that's a win, right? We got there, we closed our business down. But if you want to continue to stay in operation, you want to continue those activities that make you grow, but then you have some sustaining activities, right? That reinforce the activities and behaviors that allowed you to grow in the first place, and get rid of the activities that are detrimental to that effort. So that sustaining piece about new ideas and innovation and casting out the things that don't work, because it's poisonous to hold on to things and people that don't fit, that don't work, that don't add value in the workplace. And you want that value to come from that purpose alignment, from that organizational culture alignment, right? I used to say all the time, if you're not in charge of your culture, somebody else is. And if we're not mixing that culture and team climate from the minute we hire through the senior executives, if that's not part of every conversation, then we're kind of missing the mark.
And that goes back to something, Mike, I've heard you say in different interviews with different folks, which is good ideas die with middle management. That is only true. That is only true if leadership hasn't been empowered from the top down and throughout the organization. Good ideas don't have to die.
Well, and like everything, there's a process there, right? We can feel good and we can be warm and fuzzy and everybody can be bought into the culture. But if we don't have a process of how do we take an innovative idea or a change idea and insert it into our process and then follow and live our process, then that's how ideas die. And more often than not, you're absolutely right. It dies at kind of middle management. And the reason for that is nobody wants to look bad, right? They don't trust their if I say something dumb, I'm going to get fired, or people are going to think less of me, or if my idea isn't a home run, they're not going to trust me anymore. And it shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be how we vet innovative ideas, right? It should be a process. You dump even bad ideas in and they'll shake out, but we have to trust each other and our supervisor and our leadership to feel free enough and absence of fear enough to put out those terrible ideas. Give me 10 terrible ideas and one good.
Also, there's another caveat to that. I agree with you 100%, Chris. Also, middle managers get afraid of sharing ideas because they get stolen and do not get credit.
That is true. You know what? There's Tiffany Greene, there is a technical term for that.
I want to hear this technical term.
It's called swagger jacking.
Swagger jacking.
Somebody took your idea and they took it and made it their own, and you're standing there and they never gave you credit because they want to get credit within the organization because they knew it was a good idea, but they hadn't thought of it. And the middle manager person doesn't have the authority to say, it was my idea. They took it and ran with it. So there's distrust in the organization. And then that's when it shoots holes in purpose because the people's aligned, their purposes are not aligned.
Yeah, Chris, I think
the reason there's distrust, Mike, is because there's not a process for vetting innovative ideas. Because they believe that I take an idea to my boss, right? Okay, maybe he's going to steal it, right? How? If I have a process in which all innovative ideas, all change ideas are vetted through a change management team or a change management process where many people are going to get their eyes on it and everybody can submit ideas openly, there's no behind the closed door, under the carpet swagger jacking, right? Because it's open, it's transparent. So when
equitable opportunity, it's equitable opportunity.
When you have mistrust, it's because you don't have a transparent process.
One of the things also, one of my Chris Mayfield, Tiffany Greene, Tiffany, that is something I think down the road to touch on that, is that's important. A lot of times people have great ideas and they won't put it into the system because they think that someone will take that idea and run with it. I think that is along the lines of the employee suggestion box. People are not going to, who's going to put something in there? So, Chris Mayfield, how can people find you out there, sir?
Well, you can always go to my website, profusion-consulting.com, or more better, Mike, the more better way is to go to empowerpeople.com.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, that is one enlightened and marine right there. It is the more better way. Tiffany Greene, talk a little bit about the, aligning with Chris Mayfield. What was it in his speaking that all of a sudden made sense for you guys to partner up?
Well, it was obviously his singing. No, I'm just kidding. It's just kidding. Literally, he picked up the phone and started saying Kumbaya. I'm like, sold. No, just kidding. So, well, what it was is we both speak of purpose. So initially, as we talked, and it didn't take long, I'm literally probably a couple minutes. I didn't time it, but as soon as we started talking and having a conversation, it was pretty apparent that we were purpose aligned. And since we're both in the business of purpose, we both get right to the meat of things to know what is fueling our purpose. So it wasn't a really long journey to figure it out because it's our language. So immediately we knew, and we're in the business of empowering people. And how do you empower people is through education, connection, and support. And by really helping those drive their purpose, right? Whether it be the individuals, the leaders, or the organizations, it's about driving purpose. And we both 100% agree with that. That is our purpose of why we're in business. And so that's how I knew, for better or for worse, we're in this together.
And when you told me, I hadn't talked to Chris in a while, when you brought up his name, what did I say?
You said we deserve each other.
Exactly, because you're talking purpose. Chris, we weren't talking purpose in those days with that word, but that's exactly what we were talking about, that feeling of, doing the right thing and helping mankind. Chris Mayfield has been out there doing that for a very long time. Tiffany Greene, Empower People, MPWRPeople. We're putting people in a position to succeed. That's what we're doing. Madam, how can people find you out there one last time?
Find us online at empowerpeople.org. That's MPWRpeople.org. Find us on #EmpowerPeople on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And obviously my little car is getting recognized, so you might be seeing me out and about in my fun Mini.
There you go, ladies and
Somebody
gentlemen.
just took pictures of my Mini last weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Tiffany Greene, the Princess of Purpose, Chris Mayfield, the King of Kumbaya. I'm just happy to be here, ladies and gentlemen. On the mic, right, Mike King, we got to go. Thanks, folks. Take care now. See ya.